Hello and welcome to the Let's Breathe Yoga Studio. I am so excited to be your guide today. My name is Lori Bulloch. I'm a certified yoga instructor, and today's part two of the Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes series is all about neck, shoulder area, and we'll talk about the chakras associated with those areas. If you have a strap or something similar, belt, scarf, we will bring that in at some point. See you on your mat. Hello and welcome to Let's Breathe Yoga. I am so excited to lead this class today. So part two of the four-part series, we'll be talking about neck and shoulders, heart space, and solar plexus. So if you're familiar with chakras, this is the throat chakra right here, where we center our voice and feel empowered to speak our truth. The heart chakra is here. And then the solar plexus right about here, our energy powerhouse. So we'll be focusing and talking about all those three areas as we stretch and move today. So settling in, sitting with a tall spine and anchored hips, hands just resting anywhere that feels good. Starting to notice your breath and notice your heartbeat. Maybe thanking your body for arriving here on your mat today, for taking care of your whole body, your mind, and your spirit. If it's clear for breathing in through your nose, do that. If not, gently parted lips or open mouth. Two big, beautiful breaths that fill you up. And then soften as you release that breath. Let's start with hands on heart center to find an intention right here. So again, thinking about throat space and voice, heart center and love, solar plexus, energy, powerhouse, core. What feels good to you? Bring in a word or phrase or feeling. And invite that intention to stay with you throughout class. When you're ready, open eyes and float the hands out and palms up. Any shoulder level or lower will do. Just whatever's comfortable for your shoulders here. And let's start by just tipping to one side, just a little playful tip to each side. Noticing your spine, noticing your low back, noticing your neck. Always keeping the breath flowing. Good. And then let's float forward. So reach hands in front of you. Just let them settle on the earth and let the chin come to the chest. And then float the hands back behind you, fingers point away, and open the heart space. Keep the neck neutral. Let's take that a few times with breath. So as you slide forward, exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, hands float around, plant behind you. Big, big breath in. Let's take a moment in this spot to breathe one more time. Filling up that heart space. And as you exhale, bringing it forward. Last time, I love to do sets of 3. So inhale, open, stay as long as you want. Close your eyes, fill that heart space. Exhale, maybe start to tap into the feeling of your core as you reach forward. Exhale, strong belly button close to spine. Good. Coming up through center, let's just take arms around shoulders and find a way to open the back body. So I am taking my fingers around my shoulder blades and stretching, massaging right under that shoulder blade area. You can do one hand at a time or both. And then release hands back to the earth and let's find another sway. So this time my hands are just lightly touching the mat, sliding my ear toward one shoulder and then toward the other shoulder. Again, freeing up the neck space. Good. With hands at heart center, let's take the nose to one side, just tracing a line across the horizon. Notice this side of your neck. How open is it? How tight is it? What sensations do you feel here? Big breath in. As you let it go, come back through center, slow and steady, and cross to the other side. Another big breath fills you up, and let it go. Beautiful. We're going to move to our back body, so resting down all the way back, bringing the knees in, rocking side to side. Let the back body be so grounded and settled on the earth, feeling every space from your hips all the way up to your head. And then find center and set the feet down. Set the feet wide, but close to the hips. So tapping the knees together might feel nice. Feet are almost as wide as the mat, knees tap together. And let's take some arm movements. So reach overhead, and then let the hands slide down across the earth, the back of the hands touching the earth in a snow angel fashion, and then inhale back up. You'll find space between your ribs with that big inhale, and then let the arms float back down by the sides. Exhale. Take a couple more. Maybe it's a round of 3 total. Just feeling the strength of those shoulders as they slowly move your arms up and down. Beautiful. Hands back to the earth next to your hips. Let's scoop feet hip width apart for a bridge pose. So my hands are pressing into the mat strongly. My shoulder blades are settled into the earth. And as I press into my feet, my hips slowly lift up. Inhale here. And exhale, hips slowly roll down. Let's take that 2 more times, pressing into the feet. Inhale, hips lift. Glutes and thighs engage, and lower. Last one. Press into the earth with hips, hands, shoulders, hips lift and lower. Let's add this time. As the hips come up, the hands come up as well. If you feel steady in your body, keep flowing with that. If not, keep the hands down and just take that same bridge. But if hips and hands are coming up, just match that with your breath. Good. And as the hands rest down, let's bring the feet up. So hips stay on earth. Low back is pressed flat to the earth. Feet are in the sky, pointing and flexing. We're just warming up the body to support our later poses. So maybe ankle circles in both directions. Getting the feet active and awake for our standing poses. And then squeeze one knee in close to the chest. Take the other leg out long. Feel that open hip flexor on the long leg. And switch, letting the other knee come in, other leg go out long. Stretch, float, activate the glutes as you keep flowing through that. 3 on each side. Keeping the breath going. Enjoying that open feeling of the hip flexor of the long leg. Nice. Bring both knees in when you're finished with your 3, and then holding one hand on each knee, take some hip circles, going close to you and then out and around. Knees come together and come close to you again. When you're ready, switch directions. So maybe you're close and then you scoot away and out and around. Count your own 3 circles in both directions. Just enjoying this morning or afternoon or evening stretch and strengthen for your body. Good. Rest both feet down. Let's take a simple core exercise. Hands come behind the head and and thumbs point down the neck on each side. So my elbows stay wide, my thumbs are supporting my head, my hands are creating a cradle behind my head, and I'm floating my head just like an inch off the mat. Chin stays lifted to the sky, keeping that neck open. And we're just hovering here, so simple. But this allows us to engage the core a little bit more. So inhale big, exhale belly button to spine. Back is flat to the earth. Maybe inhale strong, exhale like you're blowing out candles. 3 more total. If your head needs to rest, go ahead. After that last one, head comes gently to earth, arms go out to the side, and to release the neck, just look to one side and then the other. Nice, coming up through center, let's roll to one side just to stretch and strengthen the shoulder and hip a little bit more. So strong, straight top leg. Let's lift it up until it says stop and then lower slowly. Maybe tap or hover, inhale up, let's take 3. Knees rest together, and let's take a big arm movement. So hand comes up, fingers wide and active. Take the arm overhead, reach, and we'll take 3 big circles. So floating in front of you, then down by the hips, and when you open, roll back and enjoy that juicy twist. That's 1. Take your time. Big, big, big breath as you open back. That's 2. And when you get to 3, bring the hand in front of you and let's roll to the belly just for a moment. So resting on the belly, find the tops of the feet on the earth. Maybe let the head rest on a hand or on the mat, cheek or forehead. Notice the thighs and hips and chest resting into the earth. And then expand the back body with a breath here. Let the big breath in expand your back side to side and up to the sky. And then soften as you exhale. 2 more like that. And then let's find a child's pose. Hands pressed next to chest, come up and over, hips float back onto the heels, hands stretching forward long. Find a place for the upper body to either come in between the knees or on the thighs. Forehead touches mat if possible. And let's come up through a table, just a nice neutral spine. Find hands wide under shoulders, knees under hips. And let's take a cat-cow if it feels good. So arching the back to the sky, chin tucks in. And then belly drops, chin lifts. 2 more of each. Exhale as your back rounds up. Inhale as the belly drops. Last one. Good. Find your way to the other side. So if you were on your right side before, come to left, vice versa. Just resting down, settling in for that same series. So stretching the top leg long and lift, lift, lift until your hip says stop. Just let that happen 3 times. Maybe finding a way to match your breath with your movement. after the last one, you know where we're going. So hands to sky, fingers wide, and take that overhead and find your circle. So slowly floating forward, down by the hip, and open back. Find your juicy breath again. That's 1. Staying present with your practice. That's 2. And after 3, bring the arm back in front of you. Hand supports you as you roll to your belly. And this time we'll do something a little different after we rest. So get some rest. Tops of the feet flat on the earth. Thighs, hips, upper body resting. Expanding the back with the breath again. And we can think of this rest phase as a way to gather energy for the work phase or the effort. Always balancing effort and ease in our practice. Squeeze glutes together, press hips into the earth, and come up on the elbows at a height that feels good to your low back. So maybe that's elbows wide like this. Maybe elbows are under the shoulders with the hands forward. Wherever you are, you want that slow scoop of the spine. Glutes are still squeezing together. Maybe the feet float off the earth. Just that back bend that feels amazing. Chin is in a place that feels good to your body. Close your eyes, listen in, big breath, and let it go. If it's feeling good to stay, stay for 2 more breaths. Any level that's feeling good. Feet might be on the earth. Elbows might be really wide. And when you're finished with your 3, press hands next to you, come up and over, this time for your child's pose. Adjust so that your hands can slide behind you, letting your shoulders roll forward, and rest. Nice work. So come up onto that hands, knees again, but we'll turn this into a down dog. So if you're not familiar, watch. If you know where your down dog is, go ahead and go into it. So my hands are pressed out wide, really even under my shoulders. And when my toes tuck, I support myself with a big breath. And as I exhale, I engage my core and hips come high and back. I'm maybe feeling tight in the back of the legs, so if that's the case, knee can bend and other knee can bend, stretching it out. No expectation of where your body might go in this pose, just feeling strength through the hands, strength through the shoulders, broaden the shoulders if possible. Get a wide feeling in the shoulder blades, and the hips are as high and back as possible. Steady steps up to a forward fold. So adjust until your feet are hip width apart. Bend your knees a lot for this first one, and hands hold on to elbows, maybe swaying side to side. This is a good place to release neck and back tension. And find a halfway lift with hands on shins, back parallel to the earth. Big breath in. Let it go as you exhale and rise up. Press into the feet, reach up high. Hands at heart center, thumbs pressing into heart space. Find your mountain pose here with a really settled, grounded feeling through the toes and engaged feelings through the thighs. Core is nice and strong and engaged. Hands at heart center. Find your shoulders rolling down and back and your head lifting through the crown. This is our mountain pose. See if you can find that same stillness and intention that we talked about at the beginning of class. Big breaths. Again, another place to find ease before the effort. Our next series will be warriors. So if you're familiar with warriors, step into warrior 1. Otherwise, take a moment and watch. My left leg is staying forward, my right leg is stepping back, and my foot goes at a 45-degree angle. My knee is over my ankle in the front here, and I'm feeling strong and steady through the legs. Arms come up, both hips pointing forward, and see if that feels good. Elbows can be a little bit bent, creating a lot of space around the head. Hands are active. This is warrior 1. When you're ready, hips open toward the front or the side of your mat, the long side of your mat. And then hands go front and back, fingers active, looking over the front fingers, feeling the strength of the legs in this pose, warrior 2. Big breath in and let it go. Let's take that top hand up and the back hand down the leg for peaceful warrior, looking up, feeling strong. And come back through warrior 2. We're just going to simply put hands on hips and adjust our feet the other direction. So if the distance between your feet felt good, all you're doing is swiveling. Otherwise, adjust longer or shorter stance. Get into that front knee over ankle, long, strong back leg again. Hips scoot forward, short edge of the mat, arms come up. Elbows maybe a little bent for lots of spaciousness around the head and shoulders. Big steady breath here. Strong legs. And then open the hips to the long side of the mat and hands are front to back. That feels just enough different that you can tell different muscles are engaging to hold you here. On an inhale, front hand comes up to sky, peaceful warrior. Big breath there, and then hands to hips. Let's take a wide forward fold pointing forward. So toes are either straight ahead or out a little. I like to bend my knees and land elbows to inner thighs to press out and open a little bit, and maybe even sway, dipping one shoulder, letting the head go heavy. This is another rest. We'll do 2 more warriors, but just resting. Pressing into the feet, rolling up. Let's find feet coming together, and we can just let the arms release. We don't want any tension hanging out in the shoulders at all. Good. For warrior 3, it's also called airplane pose. I'm going to have us do a little prep work with the strap. So if you have a strap, please bring it in. And we'll start with just a foot in the strap, and the other one is going to be our standing leg. So we'll lift the front, that foot in the strap up, and hold, and maybe open to the side. This is helping us practice this leg being a strong balancing leg for our warrior 3. Good. Set that foot down and switch. Just simple prep work helps our long, strong standing leg get the idea that, okay, I'm going to be helping and supporting here. Good. Setting the strap down, let's go to our airplane with another simple prep. I'm bringing my left knee up. Hands stay on hips as I float and hinge forward, letting my left leg go long behind me. And see how it feels to add wings. If you need to hold on to something, or if you're not steady in any way, adjust, get support. Otherwise, let that strong standing leg take a turn, holding you here. And coming back through center, switch. So my left leg is strong, Right knee comes up and a hinge forward. Letting that be a slow, steady process. Figuring out where that balance is today on each side might be different. You might not want to add wings this side, or you might want to add wings going straight ahead. Find a feel that feels amazing to you and enjoy it. Big breath, steady gazing point at the mat, and come out when you're ready. Let's rest in a forward fold. So hands slide down the knees, feet under hips, head hangs heavy. You can touch the earth or hold elbows, sway or be still. Knees a little bent or a lot bent. And notice the heart rate, alive and well. Slowly roll up, rise up, inhale up, and hands to heart. We're getting ready for our last warrior, exultant warrior. Maybe that makes you smile, that makes me smile. Okay, so left knee forward first. And we're going to set up the same way as for warrior one. So foot is long right leg is pressed back. Arms come high. And we'll take just the right hand down and across, sliding down, looking down and away. Floating that hand up. See how it feels to take the left hand down. Is that trickier or easier? We're just flowing, noticing. Right hand comes down, looking to follow it. Right hand comes up. Let's take one more here. And come back up. This will be 3 on each side here. And here. How is that feeling to you? Good. Step feet together. And let's take it to the other side. Maybe even just giving your legs a little thank you, good job. This is a lot of work. Other side, so I'm stepping my right leg forward, stepping my left leg back, bringing my hands up, warrior one. And either side, wherever you want to start, just one hand slides back and comes up, counting your 3, and I'll count mine. Slow and steady. And when you're finished, bringing it back up. Let's slide into a forward fold again, either wide legs or feet hip width apart. Your forward fold, your body, decide what you need. And let the head hang heavy, fingertips on earth, if that feels nice. Big breath in, and as you let it go with a sigh, let's come down to hands and knees and sit back on the heels. We'll take one more active pose, which is thread the needle, and then we're moving into Shavasana. So good work. Keep hanging in there. Doing great. So come into tabletop to prep. If you haven't done thread the needle, you can watch here. It's a unique pose. I'm taking my right hand out, and I'm taking my right hand through the space and bending my left elbow while still supporting myself a lot with that left hand, and lowering my right shoulder and ear to the earth. They may hover, they may touch, but that's a gentle or maybe a big stretch for the space between the shoulder blade and spine. Hips stay high. Breath stays even. Let out a big sigh, exhale, and bring it back up through center. Neutralize the spine, maybe even side to side with the hips and the head. Loosening up, preparing for the next side. Inhale up, opposite arm slides through, and you know how that felt to you, so adjust as needed. Pressing into the hand, coming back up. And let's take a comfortable seat. So find your comfortable seat, wherever that is, and just get tall through the spine again. Resting into another moment of ease. That thread the needle can be practice getting comfortable in uncomfortable, on and off the mat. If you feel like you want to stay nice and energized for the rest of your day, this might be a good moment to place hands on heart and bow with a namaste and move forward. If you'd like to incorporate and integrate the rest of the practice with us, please come onto the back body for a few minutes, resting all the way down, bringing the knees in again, rocking side to side again. And letting the heart rate slow, letting the breath slow down. And feet can come into that constructive rest, which is feet wide as the mat, bent knees tapped in, hands on the belly or out to the side or overhead. Find a happy place for your body. And maybe your legs are going to find one heel in each corner of the mat. What feels right? What feels restful? This is a perfect place to tap back into those chakras. So if your hands are on your belly, that space where the belly meets the low ribs is your solar plexus, your powerhouse, your source of strength. When you do core work, you are firing up that solar plexus. You can move your awareness to your heart space, the center of love and compassion and kindness and goodness. Let that space expand here, as if it's full of light radiating out and up and around you. And instead of touching the throat space, just resting hands to earth while we think about that throat chakra. What needs to be said? What needs to be voiced? How can you make a difference in the world with your words? Letting your shoulders melt a little more into the mat so that this whole part of our bodies can rest. If the breath is in the belly, let the belly get softer when you breathe in. Maybe the breath fills up the top of your lungs as well. Get curious about your breath. Stay here and anchor to breath for a few more big, deep breaths. Where does your belly move when you breathe? into class by wiggling fingers and toes to come back to this space. And maybe stretch overhead, big, super big stretch, and roll to one side, resting arm and head together. Finding gratitude, finding grace in this space that we've created, coming back to a comfortable seat. Maybe crisscross or sitting back, heels to hips, finding hands on heart space again, either one over the other or side by side. Thank you for sharing your journey. Namaste.